Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Magic. Recently, BTS appeared in a special video on Netflix to deliver a message that felt deeply personal to their fans, ARMY. The video itself wasn't very long, but every word they said felt meaningful, as if it were a sign that something big is being prepared. It all began when Namjoon opened the message with a sentence that immediately sent chills through many fans. The moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. That simple sentence instantly sparked a wave of excitement across the fandom. After such a long wait, fans felt that something truly big might finally be about to happen. But interestingly, in the middle of the conversation about BTS's upcoming project, another theory began circulating that made the fandom even more excited. Could there possibly be a collaboration between Park Jimin and Jungkook? That possibility hasn't been officially confirmed. But for fandoms, even a small possibility is enough to spark endless speculation, long discussions, and countless theories spreading across the internet. In the video, the BTS members appeared one by one to deliver their messages. The first to speak, of course, was Namjoon. With a calm yet confident tone, the leader of BTS reaffirmed that the long-awaited moment had finally arrived. His words sounded simple, but they carried deep meaning. It felt as if he was referring to the long journey that BTS and ARMY have shared. A period filled with anticipation, hope, speculation, and patience. After that, Kim Seokjin continued the message. With the warmth that has always been his trademark, he explained that everything they are preparing has been created with sincerity. Every detail was carefully designed with one main purpose in mind: ARMY. In other words, this project isn't just a new piece of work. It's also a gesture of gratitude toward the fans who have walked alongside BTS for so many years. Next, Min Yoongi spoke. He explained that the project they are currently preparing represents both a new beginning and a new challenge for all 7 members. Yoongi's message felt very honest. Even though BTS has already achieved extraordinary global success, they have never wanted to stop growing. They continue trying new things, experimenting with music, and pushing the boundaries of their creativity as artists. After that, the screen shifted to Jung Hoseok, bringing his signature energy. He said that what's coming next has an incredible atmosphere, something that, in his words, no one should miss. His voice was full of excitement, as if he himself couldn't wait for the moment when fans would finally see the result of all their hard work. But the most emotional moment came when Jimin spoke. With a gentle expression, he said that he truly missed the feeling of reconnecting with the world. The sentence might have sounded simple, but for many fans, those words felt deeply touching. Jimin wasn't just talking about music or a new project. He was talking about connection, the connection between BTS and the millions of people around the world who have become part of their journey. Finally, Kim Taehyung shared something more reflective. He explained that every moment of the project called Arirang carries both sincerity and the history of BTS's journey. In other words, the project is not just entertainment. It also represents identity, storytelling, and the long road they have traveled together as a group. The video was then closed again by J-Hope, who invited everyone to watch the Netflix live event and said that together they would create history. His message was short, but its impact spread quickly throughout the fandom. However, amid all the excitement, something interesting also happened among fans. Some people seemed unable to accept even the possibility of a collaboration between Jimin and Jungkook. What's strange is that, as has been explained many times, so far everything is still just a fan theory. It's true that more and more small clues, coincidences, and discussions have made the theory increasingly popular. But officially, nothing has actually been confirmed. And yet, some people have already created a huge controversy about something that doesn't even exist yet. This raises an interesting question. Why does a mere possibility make some people so uneasy? According to narratives circulating in certain corners of the fandom, if a song between Jimin and Jungkook were to appear in a project or album, it would somehow be considered unfair to Jungkook. Just imagine the story they constructed. Some even claim that Jimin might force, manipulate, or pressure Jungkook into recording a song with him. Those accusations sound extremely strange. After all, Jungkook is not a rookie artist without control over his career. He is a global professional who has spent years in the music industry and clearly has full authority to decide who he wants to collaborate with. Ironically, only a day earlier, a completely different narrative had been circulating. Some people were claiming that Jimin was actually the #1 fan of Jikook. They even argued that during a group interview, Jimin supposedly silenced Jikookers, even though the clip being used was taken entirely out of context. In their version of the story, Jimin was portrayed as someone confirming a relationship between Taeyong and Jungkook. So yesterday Jimin was labeled a Jikook supporter. Today, suddenly, he becomes a manipulative figure forcing Jungkook into a duet. The contradiction is obvious. The narrative keeps changing depending on which story people want to believe at a given moment. When something seems to support their theory, Jimin is portrayed as sweet and supportive. But when another possibility appears, he suddenly becomes a manipulator. The drastic shift in storytelling almost feels like a comedy. What's even more surprising is that all this drama is happening because of a song that hasn't even been confirmed. Everything being discussed is still speculation, fan theories and clues that can be interpreted in many different ways. There has been no official announcement and no certainty. Yet some people have already created overanalyzed theories, absurd accusations, and elaborate narratives in their heads, as if they were watching a movie that exists only in their imagination. Meanwhile, many other fans are simply enjoying the moment. They analyze small clues, stay curious about what might come next, and wait for the surprise. Because honestly, the real surprise could be completely different from every theory circulating right now. Maybe there will be a collaboration between Taeyong and Jungkook. Maybe there will be different combinations of songs between the members. Or maybe something entirely unexpected that no one predicted. If that happens, we already know what will likely come next. The narrative will change again. People will say that everything was obvious from the beginning, that the signs were everywhere, and then they will reinterpret every past event to match the new story. The same story, just with a different script. On the other hand, a Korean news program recently discussed BTS's upcoming album, and the discussion made one thing very clear. Expectations for this project are extremely high, since details began to emerge, such as song titles and producer credits. Interest in the album has increased rapidly. The program even highlighted that this will be BTS's 5th studio album and the first one released in nearly 6 years. That fact alone is enough to create enormous excitement worldwide. What makes the project even more interesting is the number of international collaborators involved. One major name mentioned is Ryan Tedder, the Grammy-winning producer and songwriter known for creating hits for artists like Adele, Beyoncé, and Taylor Swift. Another well-known producer, Diplo, is also reported to be involved, contributing to several tracks on the album. The project also includes other notable names from different genres, such as Pygmafia, Flume, Netsky, and Los Angeles hip-hop producer Mike Will Made It. Seeing all those names in one project makes it clear that the album will feature a wide blend of musical styles, from hip-hop and electronic to pop. But perhaps the most interesting detail is that even with so many external collaborators involved, the BTS members themselves have increased their contribution to the creative process. Kim Namjoon, Jungkook, and Young Hoseok are said to have taken more active roles in the music production compared to some previous releases. In short, BTS's new album has already created enormous expectations, not only because of the long gap since their last studio album, but also because of the scale of the project, the number of international producers involved, and the blend of musical styles that will be presented. All of this makes one thing very clear: the music world is waiting. And when BTS's 5th studio album is finally released on the 20th at 1 p.m., millions of fans around the world will listen with the same curiosity, eager to discover the result of this ambitious project that has been talked about for so long. With a new studio album on the way and a major project currently being prepared by BTS, one big question still remains. Will we actually see a collaboration between Jimin and Jungkook? Or is BTS preparing a completely unexpected surprise? Write your thoughts in the comments. And if you're also curious about all the theories and clues currently circulating in the fandom, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the latest updates from Jikook Magic. Because one thing is certain, This story has only just begun.